What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Mayrand podcast. Today, my guest is Harald Hellstrom. Harald is a pro skier from Finland. He is part of the infamous Forre crew who have been putting some incredible ski films in the past few years. The creative approach to his tricks and spot selection, mixed in with his eagerness to go big, makes him stand out as one of the best street skiers in the world right now. In this episode, we talked about his youth skiing and the origin of the Forre crew. We talked about all the Forre movies until their most recent one, Cast, and we went deep into some of his most iconic shots. This episode is presented by Surface Skis. They've been in business for almost 20 years now. Surface Skis is still focused on free skiing in all its forms. With their lineup of the Giver, the Sniper, the Attila, the Cleaver, the Upper, the Merlin, and the Royale, you'll find everything you need from shredding the park, the streets, or the POW. Surface Skis is focused on providing the highest quality product at the most affordable price point. It's super cool to see a brand like this that supports skiers and video projects on all sides. Most recently, they've released the Harald Pro model, a limited edition run of their Giver skis with a super dope graphic. Support companies who support skiing, support Surface Skis. Shout out to the patrons on Patreon: Will Cameron, Raph Diaz, Laurent Olivier Martin, Holden Baldassi, Ryan Bruninghouse, and Sam Chef. Also, big thanks to the sponsors: Surface Skis, Access Board Shop, Planks Clothing, and Decan's Restaurants. Let's go. Mr. Harald Hellstrom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we get to chat, man. Congrats on the new movie.
Thank
New
you.
Cast movie is out right now for sale.
Yep.
Are you guys stoked?
Yeah, it's been like a long or like we have been with all the premieres and everything. It's nice to finally have the movie out and not have to like think about it too much and just like prepare for the future and kind of leave that one behind us. Not in that way, but just like not have to work on it anymore or like plan any more stuff. So it's super
Yeah.
happy to have it out there.
Yeah, ski movies are intense because you're usually still working on the release of your movie while planning the next one. So it's a never ending process.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, b- new to this year, me and Artu, like we did the level one like tour in the states, which was like pretty. It was fun, but also like pretty heavy. And then we flew straight to Annecy for High Five, and then we had more premieres here too. So it's like been a hassle. So it's nice to like get. We have the last premiere now on Saturday in Ruka, so it's gonna be like no more premieres for that one finally.
Is that going to be a big premiere? Because it seems like everyone is in Ruka, but at the same time, from what I understand, Ruka is super up north. So, like,
Uh,
what's the scene in Ruka? Is it going to be a big party?
there's actually this like rap festival thing that's like not only for skiers. It's like a big festival, like not big, but kind of big festival for just like normal people. So said. So it's like a lot of people usually there. The place is not, or the venue is not huge, but it's gonna be a good time, and there's a lot of people always.
Yeah, you mentioned it quickly. This fall, you went to the States to be part of the Level 1 Free Ski Film Fest that they've been doing.
Yeah,
And that's cool to see that Level 1 put that together to kind of showcase movies. You see some companies doing those tour, but it's more like Matchstick or TGR.
yeah.
And it's cool that they had a stop in Denver, in Salt Lake City, Seattle, Boston, and others.
hmm
And you and your filmer R2 basically flew out to the States to join all of that tour.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. Or we didn't go to the Seattle one and the Burlington one because the Seattle one was kind of like would have been a long travel to get there and then back. I think the Boston one was after that one, and then the Burlington one was at the same time as we had a premiere in Annecy, France. So, but yeah, went to all the other ones, and yeah, it was pretty hectic, but a super super good time and met a lot of new people. So
What was the reception?
uh, it was it was different than I thought because I don't know, the ski scene is just way bigger there. The premieres were like huge compared to like anything we have in Finland. I think the Boseman one had like I don't know, like 1,100 people or something, which was like insane for us to just see like a huge amount of people show up. And because we just had one here in Helsinki, like with like 250 people, and that was like big for us because there's not that many just
Hmm.
people here who are like that into skiing. So
But even 250 is good.
yeah, that's what I
Like
think. So that's like super weird to see so many people there.
250 people that are into it at that moment makes for a super good like
Yeah,
vibe.
but yeah, it was different. It was a insane experience, and I was super happy we went there. It's just a good time.
Yeah, you mentioned that you went to Annecy,
Yeah,
which I guess is one of the biggest festivals there is right now
yeah,
out there, and you guys won best short film of the year, right?
yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. It was pretty good. We actually, because yeah, we had the last premiere in the States that me and Artu went to in Boston, and then we flew from Boston straight to Geneva, which is the closest airport to Annecy. And then our flight was, or like our overlay was delayed a bit in Barcelona, so there was like this like prize ceremony thing on Thursday that we didn't know about. Just we knew about it just one day before, and then they were like rushing us, like, you guys have to get here, like, you're nominated, you have a big chance of winning. And we're like, fuck, like there's nothing we can do. Like we didn't know about this just until now, and we already had the flights and everything. And then uh, Matthias and Teemu, some other Forre guys, they went to Annecy a bit before us, so they said, okay, we'll go to the ceremony, you guys probably won't make it. And then they also call us just when we land in Geneva, that, yeah, guys, like, be quick, you might make it, you might make it. And then we arrive at it was like a big casino, I think. We arrived there, and then Raf, the guy who's like running the festival, he like comes up to us like, yeah, you guys won, like the guys just went up on stage, you just missed it. I'm like, damn. And then I run into like the hall where everybody's sitting and like looking at the stage, and then I see that Matthias and Teemu are on the stage still. So me and Artu just run up on the stage like with still our like backpacks on, and like, yeah. So it was pretty crazy, but yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Like when you get a wink from organizers, like, "Hey, you have a chance. You should come by." That's like,
Yeah.
okay, are you telling me something?
Yeah, we kind of knew, because why wouldn't, like, they were rushing us so much also. So like, why would have they been if we wouldn't have won? So we kind of knew, but it was still like a pretty nice experience and surprise.
That's cool because I feel like short film might be even more competitive than long form. Let's say, because like it
Yeah.
seems like everyone is doing short form these days.
Yeah, but also, like, the bunch won like the movie of the year, which is like the long version, but their movie is only like 3 minutes longer than ours, and
Really?
our movie is like 21 minutes. So we don't really know what the time limit was. I feel like it like
Right.
15 minutes or something, or under 20 would make like be how it is, but
Yeah.
that's just how it went. So I don't really
Yeah,
know what.
that's funny.
Yeah, but
There was an award like that for New Schoolers Award last year that I was part of the judging panel, and
yeah,
our cut for short, short versus long was 10 minutes.
yeah,
And then that still was hard because there's a lot that go to 12, 13, 14.
yeah.
But then they're not really long form in my mind because it's still short. But anyways, you got to make a cut at some point.
Yeah, we won that one a couple of years ago, and that I think that was like kind of like a bad season for us. I think the movie or the video we made was only like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, was it Forgive?
Yeah, and that's like a real short movie as I see it.
But there was still a lot of bangers.
Yeah,
Was
that
it
one.
short because that was in the 2020 season? Was it short because of COVID or other factors?
Uh, the winter was super bad here in Finland because we had almost no snow in Helsinki. So only times we could like, and we had no budget back then. So the only times we could film were when we like traveled up north, and we didn't have a lot of money or time, and so we just didn't get that much stuff done. And then we did one trip to Quebec that year with Dan, but we also got super unlucky there. So we got some stuff filmed, or we filmed some stuff in Quebec, but not too much. And then we just like the seasons before, Tuukka used to edit the movies, and then that year we told one of our other friends who's called Antti. He's like one of the like Forre guys from back in the day, kind of, who doesn't ski anymore. We just gave the clips to him and we're like, yeah, you can do whatever with these. And then he just wanted to make it like super, like not try to extend it, just make it like clip after clip, and that's how it turned out. I
Short
think
and
it's
sweet.
yeah, I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that you didn't have any budget, but then in the same sentence, you mentioned that you all traveled to Quebec,
Yeah, but
which
we
from a guy, Finland is not the next, Finland is not that close to Quebec. It's a
no,
pretty long flight.
yeah.
Where did that decision come from, and how was it for you guys? You mentioned the snow wasn't good, but aside from that, the pilgrimage to the mecca of street skiing.
Uh, it was. I think it was mostly because like of Talti. Then I've known him for a long time because I used to buy arsenic stuff like like 2015 or something when I was super young, and then he put me on revision skis back in the day, so I've like known him from that. And then we have just been talking back and forth, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys should come to the States this season." He was talking with Tuukka a lot back then too, and we were like, "Let's go." And we kind of just went to have like a nice trip with the homies and like meet him. He was like taking care of us pretty much the whole trip and everything. So that was like the biggest reason, kind of, was just to have a like a go traveling with the boys instead of like trying to get film a like banger movie.
Hmm.
Or we tried to do both, but yeah, we the snow was good in Quebec. It was just like we got super unlucky with like getting kicked out all the time, which was weird to
Mm,
us because we never get kicked out in Finland. So
yeah, that's a point that I had in mind to ask you, but I guess it's a good timing to jump on it.
yeah,
There's something I noticed in your movies with formula and cast is there's a lot of spots that you do that seem to be like downtown-ish area.
yeah,
And like
we
to us here, if someone sends me a nice spot and it's downtown, it's semi downtown, I'm like, no, that's not a good idea because we're gonna waste our time. We're gonna get kicked out, right? So yeah, you on your end seem to do a lot of stuff in spaces where like it's downtown. How is it in Finland? Like people don't care. People just chill and let you do your thing.
Uh, yeah, it's pretty chill here actually. Or like we film a lot in downtown because we think it's pretty sick because like we all of us like live kind of downtown Helsinki too. So and then there's a lot of like monuments and just like cool places that they've built downtown, and it's like pretty much every time it's super chill. Nobody kind of cares because like we try to be respectful also, and then it's just like I don't know. I think also because like Finland is a country that likes winter sports a lot. Like we are big in hockey and like cross country skiing and everything. So I feel like it's just kind of it's just a winter sport, and people just enjoy like seeing young people outside when it's like cold and early in the morning, just like skiing in the city. And
Hmm.
so, but yeah, I don't really know what the actual reason is. People don't kind of they just like mind their own business pretty much,
Well, it's
and
cool.
yeah, it's helped us a lot.
And now it's time for a first sponsor break. The season is here and Planks Clothing is there for you. Planks is a movement of humans creating change through skiing. Skiing is a mind altering experience. The mountains bring together a community of obsessive riders, roamers, and revelers. Their vision is to build this global community all bound by shared vibes and hooked on riding. Drop 1 and 2 of their 22-23 collection is now online at planksclothing.com. This collection celebrates Manchester, Planks' second home, its people, and its influence on the gear they make. Proper good gear that'll stand up on the harshest mountain conditions and everything else the universe throws at you. Check them out at planksclothing.com. Support companies that support skiing. Support Planks Clothing. In street skiing, there's a big part of the sport that is just about finding the right spot and finding something that will be nice. But then sometimes there's a big problem where, as much as you would like to hit it, it's not doable for many reasons. You'll get kicked out. You got to go at night or whatever. And it was nice in cast and in formula how many spots you could see. Like there's like buildings right next to it. There's people in it seeing you, and you're going about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much how it is. And also there's been some or like a couple occasions where we like have asked for permission and just like tried to be like respectful and tell what we're doing, and just to be like, yeah, we're professionals, we're making a movie, and we don't want to break anything, and they're just like, yeah, like sounds good and everything. So it's like helps a lot also in that way.
Do you have a spot in mind of a one where you asked permission and they said yes?
Yeah, the one that we had in cast also and in Formula, uh, there's this like round glass things. They look like some like UFO
Yeah.
stuff. And
Where
yeah,
Yuna does a nose butter cork nine?
yeah, in the new movie, and I did like a flat spin in the last one, and Laura
Yeah.
did a flat spin too, and Maynard did like a wall ride thing on
Yeah.
those. Yeah, those ones are actually like it's like a modern art museum in like the city of Helsinki, like the peak like tourist area kind of, which is which is like super downtown. And those we knew that this snowboard legend Eero Ettola hit them back in the day, so we were like maybe we can like hit them, maybe they don't care. And then we went there. It was like the first snowfall of last year. We had like a crazy dump. We got like a meter of snow almost in like 2 days or something, and we went there. And then we started building and like speed checking, and then the security guard came and they were kicking us out. And we were like, damn, like it would have been so fun. Everybody, like a lot of people, everybody were like hyped and had some different spots on their mind. And then we were like, asked them, like, hey, could we just call somebody, like because we knew somebody like had hit them back in the day, could we just call somebody and try to get a permission? And they were like, yeah, you could try, but I don't think you're gonna get any permissions. And then I just googled like the marketing director or something for the like the museum, and then I called her and she was like, yeah, of course, like that's super sick that you guys are doing something, you know, like unique on them, and like they're like, actually built to like last better so that people can like skate on them and ski or whatever. And she was like, yeah, just go for it. And yeah, that's pretty much how it went. And then we like there was crazy because it's sent somebody like tweeted it on Twitter, and like a video of me doing something, and it went super viral, and it was like in the news, like on the television. And then the like the biggest newspaper of Finland like contacted us like, yeah, you guys were skiing there, you want to like tell something about what you were doing? And then we had like a huge picture in the mag and everything, and it
That's
was like
sick.
yeah,
And
everybody was like
that's a boss move on your end, contacting the director.
yeah. But you know, it's like like you're getting kicked out, like what else can you do, kind of? You're like,
Yeah.
if she says no, or like or the people who says like no or yes, so you might
Yeah.
get lucky.
Yeah, that's always, if you want to get things done, that's a way to get at it. Personally, when I get kicked out, I'm always more like, okay, don't want any trouble. We'll just go. But
Yeah,
you got it done. That's sick.
yeah, but it's yeah, of course it depends on the place. Sometimes we're like, yeah, like there we know that there's no chance we're gonna get the permission, and they're like super angry. But at that situation, we were like, you know, it's like a art like installment place also, and we are like kind of, or like we are doing some like art too, but just in a different way. And
Hmm.
it was like we knew that they probably will give us the permission, so we it was. And then we went back there, yeah, this winter, and we like called them. And then again, I don't know if when we were there or like before, but they were like, yeah, of course, like. And then they were like, yeah, just send us some pictures if you get any sick pictures.
Did they remember you from last year?
Yeah, yeah, because we sent them last year. We sent them like a couple of dope pictures, and they like shared them on their own Instagram, and they saw the newspaper and everything, and so they were like super happy for us to be back there.
Damn. That's sick, though.
Yeah,
I think there's been an evolution because I don't know how it was in Finland specifically, but over here, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, most encounters were not positive in the street. People were not down or like,
yeah,
skeptical or sketched out. And lately, it's been the opposite. When I see
yeah,
people, like 99% of the time, they're stoked on it.
yeah. But I don't know. I think at least for as long as we have been like skiing street in Finland, I think it's always been pretty chill, and I think that it's been also probably for a longer time too, because a lot of people like came here to film also like a long time ago. So I think it's like always been easy to film here.
Yeah, Helsinki is definitely in the top cities to film street for skiing and snowboarding.
Yeah, yeah, big time. There was like a lot of crews here last year. Like the Dust Box were here for like a month and a half or something, and like Oliver and like the Arsenic, they filmed for the Arsenic movie that Oliver is making. They were here also for a long time, and just a lot of snowboard crews and like the Harlot gang, and everybody was here.
Let's say, do you cross paths with them sometimes?
Uh, Not too often. We crossed paths with the Dust Box a couple times last year, I think, and we also like last year we filmed a lot together with like Oliver and Meeks and Crypto and Patty and Oski and those guys because we're like staying with them at the same place and back and
Hmm.
forth. So we like did sessions together and like helped them out at some spots, and they helped like our crew out at some spots.
You know, getting a full segment or getting your movie done is hard in the streets because for one shot, it takes a lot of effort. Did it
Yeah.
get complicated with such a big crew of like, yeah, you want to help everyone out, but then everyone also want to get some shots?
Uh, no, as far as I saw it, I don't think it got like super complicated in that way because we also did a lot of days where we were like, you know, like set like these guys went there and maybe one of our guy went to help them because he knows Finnish or like the place better, and then
Hmm.
one of them came with us and you know kind of just, and then sometimes when we were like just feeling it, we all went together to the same place or like hitting the same spot
Hmm.
also. So it worked out pretty nicely, or we made it like work pretty super smoothly. And
That's dope. So we kind of talked about a bunch of things starting off the pod, but
yeah.
I was down to get to talk about how you got into skiing because you're kind of getting into that legendary status right now where like if you say the name Harold, everyone knows you and everyone has that image of you jumping off a roof. Like you're there's a lot of people that went big back in the days in the streets.
Yeah.
Like when I think of the biggest one, it's Cam Riley.
Mm,
And it seems that for a while people weren't trying to go as big because like you couldn't top what was being done. And you know, it's not as if it's easy to go that big. It's scary and there's a lot of risks. And I think you're really the new guy that's been really pushing that side of street skiing of like going super big. Um,
yeah.
so congrats for that, and you're really
Thank you.
making a name for yourself. But I'm curious to know, since you know all we see is your like your ski porn and the movies you're making.
Yeah.
What's the backstory on Harold?
I grew up in a town called Sipo, and uh, we had this like local hill that's called Talma that we skied a lot back in the day. We made the video that's called Forre for Arsenic there too, and that place was super close to where I like grew up, and pretty much like I just grew up skiing there. I got into skiing. I think my brother started skiing there, and then he like quit a bit or like earlier, and then I just got into it and like met most of my friends were in the mountain, and just like those became like my good friends that I still hang out with a lot. Not all of them are like ski anymore that way, but they're like most of them are like the guys that we started Forre with. So I just grew up skiing there, and that's pretty much how I got into skiing.
Were you into freestyle skiing from the beginning?
Yeah, I never like skied like 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 racing or whatever. I just
Yeah, or
started.
moguls or
No, yeah, no, not really. Back then, like the bit older guys, like the Kislev guys, back then, like when they were competing, that was like normal to like ski half pipe moguls and everything.
Mhm.
But I never really started competing either. So I just ski like freestyle and park mostly.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. I'm stoked to have Dickens Restaurants as a sponsor once again this season. I've been a lifetime fan, so I'm always happy to share the good word. Dickens is a family owned fast food restaurant chain with 12 locations in the Montreal region. They've been famous since 1954 for their great food, especially their flat hamburgers and their spicy sauce. Talking about their sauce, it's been available since last year in many Metro grocery stores all over Quebec. Dickens is my number one fast food spot, so if you come by Montreal, you gotta check it out. Support companies that support skiing, support Dickens restaurants. So you're 23 right now?
Yeah, I'm 23.
You're part of the new generation. What was your inspirations getting into freestyle? Because you
Uh,
have a really specific approach, a really unique approach right now. Like when we see a shot, we know it's Harold. Like you have really your own identity in street skiing. How did you develop it, maybe, and how what were your inspirations? What's the movies or athletes or segments that made you say like, okay, I want to get into street skiing?
I think like we like started to have like the Forre crew before we made any movies, or we had it for a couple years. It was mostly just to like joke around and have like an Instagram that we could post together on, and then like guys like Tuukka and Elias and those guys kind of like joined our crew because they were friends with some of the guys that were in the crew back then. And then I think like the biggest like inspiration that we had was when we went to see the first Quiche Life movie. We were all there, well, like super young, and like partied there with those guys like for the first time, and we're like, oh, we like, because we like fanboyed those guys back then, and we're like, yo, this movie is so sick. And that was when I think most of us were like, yeah, we should also try to make one. And then we just kind of started making one. Like it was first like not like the Forre crew that was making the movie. It was kind of like another crew, but pretty much with the same people.
Hmm.
And then we just started like, I think they were filming a bit more, and then I got into making that the first movie a bit later, and that one was, it's called Past Two. That one is not anywhere in the internet anymore, unfortunately. But that's just pretty much how we started making the movie. So yeah, I'd say like Quiche Life was easily the biggest inspiration back in the day, or like when we started making our movie.
Yeah, that's cool. Like really a local crew inspiring you.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, we were watching like the level one movies or other bigger movies when we were younger, but that crew and that movie is the one that like got us into like street skiing.
When you think about those, it's Antiolila and was Yuna in there? Yuna Kangas back in
Yeah,
the days,
yeah, and then Lauri, Anttu, Pontus, a
right?
lot of Killian, a lot of people.
You mentioned the Forey guys. I think that's also something that could be cool to know. Is one, does Forey have a meaning? Like
Yeah,
the word, what does it mean?
it kind of doesn't mean anything. It was me and then a couple other friends were just like on a Skype call. The day we started like the for Instagram, we were just like, we were super young. We are just like, yeah, we should just make an Instagram where we can all like shit post pretty much, and just put out clips together.
Yeah.
And then we're just like thinking about names, and then somebody just kind of came up with that name. It's like it comes from the word like forest, because we built this like small like place in the woods at Talma, which is the local mountain that I mentioned, and we like spent a lot of time there, like just like having like barbecue sessions and just hanging out with the guys when we were younger. And then we're like somehow like forest came and to that, and or that word came from there, and then it just molded into foray.
Right. So at the basis, Forey just started as an Instagram account.
Yeah, it was called back to back triple actually when we started it, but the crew was always foray. And then like I don't remember when, but then one day we were just like, oh, like this is getting a bit bigger. Maybe we should change the name or the Instagram handle, because like people were like, yo, what's back to back triple and what's for it? They thought there were like two different crews and everything. So it got like pretty like, yeah. That's when we are like, yeah, we should just change the Instagram handle to Fora instead, because it's easier to people.
And sometimes for crews, there's like two scenarios, I guess, where on one hand, you're a group of friends that are really friends and that decide to make movies together. And sometimes it's just like trying to make a movie and finding people that are looking to, form a crew. How
Yeah,
was it for Foray? You guys were really like, teenage childhood friends?
yeah, that's pretty much how it was for us. Or like we never like kind of looked for people to like, yo, like we need people to make this movie. It was like super natural how it just like everybody like at the beginning it was more of a crew of those guys that like studied at Ruka, because there's like this ski academy thing, and that's also where like Quiche Life formed back in the day.
Hmm.
It's like a super legendary school and place where people meet, and those guys started filming for the first movie, and then I joined them. And then like the next year we were like, yeah, let's make a foreign movie, and just that's the foreign movie that's still on News Course, I think. That one is like the first actual like movie by like the foreign crew.
But which one is the other that you mentioned that is not online anymore?
It's called Past Two,
Okay.
but yeah,
So
that one is
that
the
one
one
was
that was.
before that?
Yeah, that one was, and yeah, and that one was not like really a foreign movie, or we like put it out as like the foreign group's movie, but it was like a bit out of a different crew, kind
Hmm.
of.
Your crew of friends that have now made 5 movies.
Uh, yeah, it's five, and then six if we count the first one. That's like not online that one, but yeah,
Yeah.
five like movies with the Forre crew.
So 5 movies with the Forre crew, getting bigger and bigger every year. Where now you're at a point where you're like the biggest street ski crew in the world, almost, or like in the top ones for sure. Uh, your film from last year has 120,000 views on YouTube. Your film from this year has won short film of the year. Looking back at the first foray movie that you released in 2018, what was the move to say, okay, we're gonna, you know, aside from Instagram, aside from being friends, work together on a project and make a real movie?
I don't know. It was just always super natural, and something we like realized that we are good at and like wanted to do. It was never really like like super planned. It was just like we love doing this stuff. We like being with this crew, and just like we realized that we were pretty good at it, and like got a good amount of like recognition as soon, like even from the first movie. So we're like people like uh seem to like this stuff, and like we should just keep on doing it because we like doing it also. And then later on, after the Forgive movie, or like the short Forgive like short video,
Yeah.
Tuukka, who was like the main filmer and who edited all the other or all the stuff back in the day, he like started to go on like the going to a school and getting a real job path. So then that year, after that year, Arthur jumped in for filming for Formula, and that was also super smooth because we made the video that was called Forre for Arsenic the spring before we made Formula, and Artu made that one. And
Mhm.
then in that one we also had Mania with us, and he was like not before that he was not really a part of the crew. He was more of like a good friend and also Artu. And then at the same time we're like, oh, Tuukka is not going to be filming anymore, so we're like, yeah, maybe like Artu, you should hop on and try doing this with us. And then also I realized that Mania and Emil were super into like skiing also, and they were like wanted to make some like movies or film street. So it was just like got some new face in the crew, and that's like how it became even bigger when we like got like Artu is super talented and like a professional kind in his stuff. So it just helped us like making it even bigger and better, and that's just how it's like how we're doing it at the moment.
It's been a good transition because now I feel like everyone associates Foray with R2 because he's been killing it producing your
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, and he's done like, or he does like all the video work for us, pretty much everything besides like Instagram and some smaller edits every now and then. He's like been doing it all, and it's just like being super natural having or like doing the stuff with him because we trust him and he trusts us, and it's just like easy to work with him because he's also like a good friend of ours that we like hang out with besides of skiing too.
You're a crew of friends firsthand, and then you make ski movies together. You're not just hanging out because of skiing.
Yeah, and that's like I feel like that's how like the best crews like work is just by not being forced and just like having a group of friends that actually want to ski together and might want to make stuff happen together.
Yeah.
Like the bunch, they're also like good friends that hang out besides of skiing too, and that's like how the bunch has been working so like perfectly for a long time, instead of like being like trying to build a crew with just random people. And
Hmm.
that's like what I never even want to like either want to do. Like that's why I love skiing and filming street movies, is because I'm doing it with Foray. It's like wouldn't want to do it with just a random crew. I filmed a lot with Oliver too, but he's also became or Oliver Hoblit, so he's also became a good friend of mine in the meantime, which is like also filming with a friend when I'm filming with him.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. If you listen to this podcast, you know Axis Board Shop is the dopest shop in skiing. They support athletes, movies, events, and a bunch of other stuff related to skiing and snowboarding. I've been to their shop recently and they're ready for ski season. They've received all the new skis, boots, outerwear, and every other thing you'll need for this season. So if you're in Quebec, go check out Access Boutique in Saint Sauveur, or you can check them out online at accessboutique.ca. Support companies that support skiing, support Access Board Shop. It's such a big endeavor to film street that if you're with a crew that you don't know it, it doesn't really work. I think there was that problem in the early 2010s with some companies having a harder time. Was like, you know, let's say Poor Boys might have started years before that as a real crew, but then as it evolved and time went on, it was really like sponsors paying for a specific writer to be there. So then
Yeah,
some movies, it didn't feel natural. You just had some writers that were together on the trip, but it was purely because of sponsor money. And like
yeah,
you could kind of see it in the final product that there wasn't a crew. There was a segment with some people in Minnesota filming street, and then another one in Europe filming POW, and like there was no
yeah,
nothing holding it together really.
yeah. I feel like it needs a heart, kind of, or for us, because now when we make the movies, we're gonna like looking back to them and be like, oh, that was a good time we had that winter, and we
Yeah,
did a good job, and we are proud of each other instead of like being like feeling more like work, kind of.
yeah,
It's now it feels just like a good time and with good friends and just natural.
yeah. I guess you can see that that friendship vibe with your new movie cast,
Yeah, that's
where
yeah,
spoilers for people who haven't seen it. You tell me if I can say that, Harold, but there's no writer segment.
yeah, yeah. You
It's
can say that.
all it's all mixed in shots of everyone all throughout the movie,
Yeah,
which kind of surprised me at first because last year you had your own segments, and I always like those because you get to see what someone did, all together, so it's more clear maybe.
yeah.
But it was nice, kind of a mixtape vibe almost, like nothing pejorative about mixtape, but like it's all blended all throughout, so it really flowed for like 20 minutes straight.
Yeah. That's what we knew. Like I think pretty much as soon as we were done filming Formula or like making the movie, we're like, yeah, that's everybody was on the same page of like we should do like a non-part movie. I don't know where it came from. Maybe just because everybody went super hard for Formula, and then it puts less pressure on people to be like, oh, I have to make a better part. I have to make a
Hmm.
better part. I have to do like crazier and bigger stuff. Now it was more like, let's just like ski and like blend everything, and then just like everybody can like do what they want.
Yeah, it's easier to make a feel good movie, kind of
Yeah,
showcase the nice moments and everything.
yeah, and it's also easier to just for Artie to make the movie like more flowy, like you said, and just like with songs and everything,
Hmm.
because he doesn't have to like, oh, I only have these shots. Instead, he can be like, I can use pretty much everything. And we also had like when we started making the movie, had a couple like songs on our mind, and we wanted to make like there's like a fully like a dark part that's filmed during nighttime, and then there's one with like a Finnish song which is like mostly filmed in like like the city center of Helsinki, which is more like more lines and more like mellow stuff and just like a feel good part kind of.
Yeah,
So that helped us also a lot because sometimes from like filming Formula, I was like, yeah, I have to find like a big spot. I have to find something, whatever. But now it was like, yeah, we have this song. Like I want to just film like a mellow line that looks good because I know it fits with this song, and that's like helped us out too, and put less like pressure on in that way.
yeah. As you say, it's a great idea because you and Yuna and Mano and the other boys went so hard last year that
Yeah,
it's kind of, if you go in the same direction exactly, it's so hard to top it without getting too dangerous. Like what you did for Formula, I just
yeah,
rewatched it before we talk. Like there's maybe 5, 6, 7 shots that could be the ender of your part that are huge shots. So I guess it's really good for you to like move into like another direction and
yeah,
see your season differently.
yeah. Or like that's also what I had on my mind a lot because after that movie, a lot of people were like, yo, like talking a lot about the big stuff and all that. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, but or like I wanted to like move in, not like stop doing that, but also like try to evolve in another way, because otherwise
Hmm.
it's just like jumping down from big stuff is also like I like doing that too, and I know I'm good at it, so it doesn't like matter in that way. But at the same time, it's like nice to just hit like a down rail and like see what I can do
Yeah.
on that, because like I know that I have like limited trick selections compared to many other people, so it's like nice to like try to get a good shot on something that's not just sick because it's like big, also just like do something smaller and just try to make it cool in a other way than just like being big and scary kind of.
And I think to your point of not having the biggest bag of tricks, we could say,
Yeah,
is I
yeah, we
think
can
it
say.
helps. Well, I don't know, like it's not a disintended or anything.
No,
It's
no, no, I know
just
it,
trying to
and
phrase it properly.
yeah,
Um,
it's exactly how it is.
yeah, let's say not having the biggest bag of tricks in the world. I think it's something that helps a lot of people in the streets because it kind of forces you to think outside the box in terms of
Yeah,
how you approach a feature or which one you choose. Because if you had all the tricks in the world and you just go to a rail and you're more thinking of doing the
yeah,
biggest trick possible, and I think Payben mentioned the same thing when he was growing up, that he wasn't the best, and that influenced him into going into a creative route and made him the
yeah.
skier he is today.
Yeah, that's how it's been like completely for me also, because I never got into competing, I never got into like training or stuff, so I've never really been good at spinning both ways or going switch or whatever. So that's probably why I also like enjoyed, or like have been enjoying skiing street so much, is because it's like I try to like more think of it like as the spot than the trick, like find a like maybe
Hmm.
like also like a big or a crazy spot, and then just be like, oh yeah, I can just do a straight air out of this window instead of like trying to do like a some like switch right lip two on a handrail.
Yeah. And it's cool because it makes you stand out while everyone is trying to do that switch right lip to or whatever.
Yeah.
No one is doing the straight air. So that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
dope. And
Yeah.
I really get your point of almost being typecasted. You hear that for actors in Hollywood where
Yeah.
they don't want to be associated to a certain type of movie, so they try to branch out.
Yeah.
And I get that you don't want to be the guy that jumps off roofs all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I want to be the guy, but then also like I want to just for like maybe mostly for myself also, like evolve in different directions, and just like be like, oh, like you can also like do a dope part without only like doing big stuff, and just like try new stuff, and just like learn a lot, or like about my own skiing, and see my like capabilities of like skiing rails and stuff more.
mhm. But I do think that your parts, and especially this year, was super well rounded.
Thank you.
Like, yes, I think people talk about the big stuff because it stands out. We see
Yeah.
you jumping off from a roof. It definitely stands out. But from the wall rides, the hand plants, there's some rail tricks, some funky stuff. It's a really great balance that you have.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy on how it turned out. It was like it felt weird. Like, of course, yeah, there was a couple big spots too, but it felt weird, like having that approach. At least after like a year, like Formula, when it was like mostly just like big stuff every day, so it
Hmm.
felt weird, and like also a bit like am I doing like should I be doing crazier stuff to like how I used to be doing it, or should I just like keep on like trying to like do cool lines and like find like smaller stuff but still like make it cool. And so like at the end of the season I kind of was like damn, like maybe I should hit some couple big spots, but then I was like nah, I'm just
You were
gonna
missing it.
yeah, or like not missing it, or yeah, of missing it also, but then also being like that's what I like I'm known for, and that's what I do all the time. But it felt good like hearing people, or like having also like all the Americans here, and they were like super supportive about that, and they also like realized that it's been cool to see you do like technical tricks on rails instead of like jumping down from roofs all the time kind of.
um, and talking about going big and maybe not going as big this year or trying not as much.
Yeah.
Were you there at Yuna's closing shot of the movie?
No, I wasn't there. I can't remember where I was. I think I was filming with with the other crew, the American crew.
Because for people who haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but he does a humongous drop
Yeah.
with a dope trick. What was your reaction when he told you or when you saw the shot?
Uh, I don't know. It's like I know he's insanely good, and I know that before he even did that, I knew what he was gonna do, and I knew he's gonna land it. So it's not like a
You knew he was
great.
going to do that trick.
Uh, yeah, I knew at least like the other one that he did, and also then the second one didn't like kind of like surprise me because I knew like he's just insane. He's like one of the best skiers pretty much ever, even though he's super low key. But I just knew that it's he can do it easily, and I was like, of course, I was shocked, and it's insane, but at the same time, it's like I just know how good he is, and I know his capabilities, so it's like not that of like a surprise or shock to me.
You know how crazy it is, but at the same time, you know how good he is. So it's
Yeah, or at least for me, because I've known him for like 10 years, so it's like, and he's a good friend of mine, so it's not like I'll be like, "Yo, what? How did you do that?" Because I just know that if somebody can do it, he can, and it's a the spot lined up nicely, and of course it was like a crazy mission, but still he's like super good.
yeah, same thing with I filmed a lot with Matt Duff last season,
Yeah,
and at the beginning of the season, I was like shocked when he would land a banger,
mm,
like trying to adapt to how good he is.
yeah,
But by the end of the season, I was just like, yeah, that's what he does.
yeah, and that's like also like everybody of us knows each other super well, so it's like helps us like finding spots because sometimes I'm like, yo, like this spot clearly is a spot that Jonah could do something crazy on, or this spot is something that
Mm,
Mania or them or whoever, and that's like we just know each other super well, and we just know that if you try this on this spot, you'll probably land it because that's what you are good at, and I know
yeah,
how good you are, so it's like that's how it works.
it's all a teamwork of,
Yeah,
you're not just looking for spots for yourself, you're looking at everything for everyone.
yeah, and also like Artu does that a lot too. He just like has a list, and he's like, "Yo, Mania, maybe Mania, you should try this one. Like, you should try this trick, or and or like whoever it is. Like, depending on the spot, we just work together super well in that way."
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a lot of spots that you guys do where it doesn't look like you're doing solo missions where it's one rider trying to get his shots. A lot of times you see that all the crew is there and
Yeah,
there's still one person getting the shot, but everyone is helping out.
yeah, yeah. A lot of times it's like, yeah, we try to have like a decent sized crew depending on the spot. If it's bigger, we like try to have more people, or like invite some of like the non skiing homies, or like the homies that ain't at the spots too much, just to
Hmm.
have more people shoveling. And then at some spots we have like a couple of dudes trying it, and maybe somebody's like have planning on, oh, I want to do this, and then it doesn't work for him, and then somebody else is like, yeah, like I could try it also, and comes up with something different.
I have a lot of shots that I took notes that I thought was sick from Formula and from Cast, but there's one that stood out that I put like big marks.
Yeah,
There's a rail, you know, in the streets you can go creative, you can go tech, you can go big,
yeah,
those types of things. There's one rail where you went kind of not stupid, but I'm like, why did you do that? There's a forking rail that you went straight into a river.
yeah.
W-
uh
and I love that shot. That shot is so funny because
yeah,
you first see you at the top and you don't know where it's gonna go. You
yeah,
just say, okay, that's a crazy rail.
yeah,
You get to the end of the rail, you jump onto a nice block, and then you just you just
yeah.
jump in the water. Where did that idea come from, and how was that?
It was actually, it's a pretty funny story because when Talti Dan and his like crew uh, came to Finland, we had an Airbnb like in like north, or like southern Helsinki, like next to the ocean kind of, and it was like a pretty nice house, and there was like like I don't know, like 13th floor or something, so we could see super far from there. And then Oliver Hablitzel, the filmer guy, we like looked, we saw from the window, we saw this spot, and we're just joking about it, like I think it was frozen, it goes like into the ocean, the river, I think it was Frozen back then, or we were like joking about it a lot. Like we should hit that one, we should hit that one, and I was like, yeah, like I want to hit that one. That looks super fun, and then or like it looks like it could be uh like a pretty epic shot, and then they like left. We never did that, and then they left to the Alps, and I was like thinking about that spot like all the time, like damn, like I should just hit that one because we started filming this. We had this idea of filming like a stunt part with just doing like weird stuff. We did a couple super funky uh spots. We didn't put those in the movie, but that one would have been like a big part of that. And
Mm.
then one day,
A bit like what Bulldoze did this summer.
yeah, kind of, but in a different way. We did some crazy stuff with Laurie, but those didn't see the day of light.
Mm.
But yeah, and that one was a part of that. And then yeah, one day I was just like, let's just do it now. Like it's now or never. And then the in run didn't have any snow, and so it was a bit of a, yeah, like you can see in the movie. Like I'm standing on top of the rail. It's like a wide. For those who haven't seen it, it's like a wider metal thing, so it's you can like stand on it without like falling off. And then it was also like a bit tilted, like it was not straight, it was like a bit tilted. So like if you like tried sliding it without trying to like balance a lot, you like just slid off to the stairs every time. And then I didn't
Mm.
really have any speed because I couldn't, it was not sliding too good because it was aluminum, I think. And then Teemu was like helping me like push speed on top of it, so it actually took like a really long time to like make it to the end of the rail. And then we also had the first idea was to like jump straight into the river from like the dock, or and then but then it was like super shallow, the water, so I couldn't like jump in there without like hitting the bottom. So it was like, yeah, just like there was ice blocks like floating around all the time, where just like, yeah, let's just like put this one right here and I'll jump on the ice block and then into the water. And they kept on moving all the time, so we had like a rope, like a shovel tied to our ropes. We're like throwing the shovel over the ice block and like dragging it back and forth to put it in the right position, and then like running up the stairs and like trying a couple of times, then like moving the ice block again. And it was a crazy mission. And then I remember making it to the end of the rail, and I was like, like damn, like now I have to go. Like I've tried this for like an hour and a half. Like it's crazy mission. Like if I don't jump now, I'm gonna have to try again for a super long time and like move the ice block again. And then it was just like had to just do it. And yeah, it was yeah, first swim of the year too. So it was
So there was one jump in the water,
yeah,
one
just
try,
one.
and that was it.
Yeah, but I tried to like slide the rail maybe like 35 times or something. It took super long because it was long and it was weird and it didn't slide. And yeah,
So there's really the point where after the 35th try, when you get there,
yeah,
there's no backing out. You gotta
yeah.
jump.
It was not like, okay, next one I'll jump in. It was just like, okay, now it's go time. And it was like, um, also like I was super exhausted because I tried it for so long, and I had like a life jacket under my shirt. Otherwise, I
Yeah,
would have like drowned like
yeah.
big time. So I was like super sweaty and just like exhausted. And I was like, no, I don't want to jump in now. I want to rest and then jump in. But I was like, okay, now I just have to do it.
Yeah, we could see you looking beefed up a bit. We could see the life
Yeah,
jacket.
yeah. And also, yeah. And I remember jumping in. I had to swim for maybe like 3 meters or something, and it took me like a minute because I was so heavy with all the clothes and the skis. I was like, just like trying to survive, and it was like super cold, and yeah, it was just a crazy mission. But it turned out super super sick, and I think that's like one of the clips, at least at the premieres, that has like gets the most hype because it's like
Though
such a
that's for
big
sure.
such a big surprise. So yeah,
And you talked a bit about doing some stunts, or I don't know how
yeah,
you would qualify it, but doing different type of skiing. There's a shot of Lowry getting
yeah,
wrecked in the movie. Is that part of what you were trying to do?
yeah. That was like the part of like the
Yeah. Well,
stunt
maybe
part
tell me
idea.
more about that. I'm curious, like what was the concept in your minds,
Uh,
or what you were trying to do?
it was just like, I think we are gonna like do something like that maybe next year. It was just more of like, Laurie has always been like a super special, like he is like a super creative guy, and sometimes he just comes up with like crazy ideas, like, yeah, we should just do like stunts. And then that was like our idea of actually like doing like just like weird stuff on skis, whatever. Like at one point where like we had like a rope swing in the woods and we were like skiing there. Like we filmed some clips that we never used those, but we filmed a lot of clips like that one day. And then we're just like trying to find weird places in Helsinki with like, and one of those were like the one that Laura gets wrecked in also. And that was just like a tree that was falling in a downhill, and then we like had some like saws and axe, and we just made it like smoother. And then he tried to slide it, and then he got pretty wrecked. He hit it after that too, and he got the shot, but the crash was better, so we used that one instead.
I hope we get to see the shot somewhere because that's weird. You show the bail but not the make.
Yeah, but yeah, the shot is nothing compared to the bail. It puts the spot so it like
Right.
the, in its like perspective how like insane that was. And he actually fucked up his knee a bit there, but
Hmm.
he is good to go for next season. I think he wants to film a bit more next season. He filmed a lot with Oliver, so he's gonna have a lot of, or not a lot, but he's gonna have some clips in the Arsenic movie that's coming out later.
Yeah, maybe we can talk a bit about that. Tell me, well, what's the? I've heard a bit about it through the grapevine, but what's up with the arsenic movie?
Uh, it's nothing like super special. It was just like Dan wanted to make a movie and like wanted to come to Finland. He hadn't been here before, and just hang out
Yeah.
in a big crew. And then we just like he decided, or like he had a couple homie or like some homies who he wanted to be in the movie, and they flew over and spent like maybe a month here, I think. And then yeah, Oliver was filming for it, and it was like Meeks came from the States, Crypto came from Norway, Paddy came from the States, Oski came also from the States. And yeah, and then Laurie filmed a bit for it too. And Sawyer, one guy from the East Coast, was here also for a couple of weeks. So
Are you going to have shots in there?
yeah, I have a couple, and I think Manu has a couple too. But I wanted to have more, but I just didn't. I was hurt a bit last season too, so I just tried to film for a movie as much as possible.
I'm looking forward to see that because it's been kind of under the radar.
Yeah, I think yeah, I've seen it. It's gonna be a super super good movie. I'm super excited on that one. And
Cool.
it's a dope crew.
You guys have filmed mainly in Finland for all the street you've done. Like you told me a bit in the beginning, you did a trip to Quebec, but other than that, it's all been Finland, right?
Yeah. Other than that, it's all been Finland. Yeah. No, we haven't filmed anywhere else besides Finland with this
It,
crew.
it's crazy how, I guess Quebec is a bit in this same sense how people have been coming for so long and there's still new spots and new ways of approaching it.
Yeah.
How has it been for you guys? That challenge of being a place that's so popular for street skiing and snowboarding to find new spots and to, um, keep it fresh, being your hometown also because probably know the city inside and out.
I don't think we have really had any like issues with not finding new spots. And then we have also hit a lot of like spots that's been skied before or snowboarded before, and then also like done maybe those spots in a new way, maybe do a line or something. So I don't think we have ever had like issues with the fact that people like ski or snowboard here a lot. And yeah, like you said, like it's our hometown, so we know everything about this place. And like we just I think a lot of people also who come here from other places also find a lot of new spots. It's just like a decently sized city, and it's just built super nicely for like skiing or snowboarding, so it's easy to find like new spots.
What's the ratio you would say of like filming in the area of Helsinki versus like all around Finland? Do you guys move a lot through Finland, or you really stay homebound?
Yeah, most of like pretty much everything is filmed in Helsinki, in cast and also formula. But we did for both of the movies we did like one trip in the beginning of the season. For formula we did one to Levi, which is like there's another resort, also a small town like super northern up, I think late December, just to like kind of kick off the season and like kick off the get the movie going. It's nice to have like a trip where we get like a handful of shots in a short time, and then you have like you're stoked to continue instead of like trying to wait for the snow and just like scrape some snow and get like a couple shitty spots, like shots in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And we did the same for cast. Also, we went to Joensuu, which is like more eastern Finland, and it's like a smaller city too. But that's we went there. We had Teemu, Emil, Mainio, Artu, and me, and we got maybe like, I don't know, maybe we were there for under 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. We got like 10 to 15 shots, and that just then we came back, and it starts snowing, and we like already have like a couple minutes of footage, and it's like nice to continue the season knowing that we already have like this like something going on.
Yeah.
And then pretty much only Helsinki or the Helsinki area after that.
There's another shot that I want to talk to you about. In Formula, your opening shot, it looks like you almost died.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys are so sick at like jibbing actual statues, or like, I don't
Yeah,
know how you would even call them, like art things.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a big. How would you even describe that feature?
It's like I think it's like a air went to like some underground, like maybe parking lot or something. So it's just
Okay,
like a blue big like thing that sticks out of the ground. I don't know how high. It's maybe like
50 feet, 40.
maybe like not that high. Maybe like 8 meters, 8 to 10, I would say. But that's still pretty high. That's
Yeah.
like
Okay, let's say
30.
30 feet.
Yeah, pretty much something like that.
And you were going up it to stall and go back down. And
Yeah.
first shot of the movie is we see you going too fast, and you got to hang on not to
It,
fall on the other end.
yeah. Yeah, that was like that was a pretty super sketchy session. That's actually you can't see it that good, but I like come through like a small wind, like there's a wall, like a glass wall, and then there's just a door open that I like go through when I come into the spot and when I like ski out of the trick. And then the in run was not too long because there like was like something in the back kinda, so I had to like carve in when I was hitting it
Damn.
the first time, and that made it super sketchy. So we went there for 2 days. The first day, uh, I got the clip that we used in the movie, the stall that we used, but it was not perfect, and also like I think uh, Arctic like had some like fog on the lens of the camera, so it was like the quality was not that good. So we are like, yeah, let's just go back and get it better. And yeah, so the first day I had a lot of issues with speed also, so I had to go like really fast and like hold on to the winch for a long time to like make it up there because it's so high and steep. And then we came back the other day. I had like a brand new pair of skis, and I didn't do the carve. I just did the in run shorter and kept on to the winch longer, and then I just kept on doing it for a while. It's like getting closer every time, kind of to the top. And then I remember thinking like is there a hole on top of the thing, or like can I fall inside, or is it just gonna be like a flat surface? And I was like, maybe I should like look into like Google Maps and see if you can see how it
Damn.
looks on top of that. And then I was like, nah, like I don't care, like it's gonna be whatever up there, like I'm not trying to fall on top of it. And then uh we had this homie who's Oskari Raitanen, who's like one of the Nipwits guys, like OG. He like
Yeah, legend.
yeah, he's a big legend and is like a huge inspiration for us. He like likes to like join the spots and just hang out and help every now and then. He was like helping me. He like pushed me into the in run and like pulled the winch like cord for me so that I didn't have to like pull it back every time, and just like hyping me up at the end of, or like where I started to getting speed in the in run kinda. And then I remember telling him just before that try, like, okay, now I know like with the speed I get here, like I can't go too fast. I'm just gonna hold on to as long as I can. And he was like, hell yeah, like let's get it, like it's gonna be sick. And then I just like go faster than the other ones, and it's like the transition is kind of fast, or like quick,
Yeah.
if to the speed that I had. And then I kind of just like start like fall back like on my back and then just slide up, and I was like, that was a super scary moment. It like I kind of felt, or like I knew that I'm gonna fall off when I fell, because I like I just knew the speed that I had, and I
Yeah.
like had it like pretty nicely got a grip of like the edge of the thing with my hands. But yeah, at the same time, like if I would have fallen on the other side, that I don't know, could have gone like super bad, because we couldn't put any snow on the other side. It's just like there's like some railings on the other side going like sideways kind of. So there was like, it's not even like a flat surface, so it would be like a big fall to like on top of some like railings and stuff. So we got pretty lucky that I didn't go worse, or like didn't fall over that thing.
So you managed to hang on and go back the good way.
Yeah, or like it was like the top was not huge, but I could like hold on, and like I was like hanging there on for a while, and then I like kicked my skis off and then like turned around and like sat on the edge on like the good side, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy fuck, and then I just slid down. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again, like let's just use the one we got yesterday.
Yeah. Was that a lesson that like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta, even though the shot is not perfect, you gotta say, okay, that was it, and let's not go back.
Yeah, like yes and no. Like I don't know, that spot was pretty stupid, like even going into it, think like, because like you usually don't think about, that something bad is going to happen. Of course, like we are like good at the stuff we do, so we like calculate the risks and everything, but it was like I was not kind of prepared for that to happen in that way. Like I was prepared maybe going too fast and like having to stall on like the super tails of my skis, so I didn't think about like falling and like sliding on my back up the thing.
Right.
And then yeah, we were like, everybody was like pretty shocked. We had a lot of people at that spot too, some like snowboarders too were like super shocked, and we were like, yo, like that was pretty fucked, like could have gone pretty badly. And then I remember like Art too, like I don't know, a couple days or a week later, he was like yeah, when I was back home, like just looking at the pictures, I was like or like he actually felt like that was, like a huge moment, or like not like a huge moment, but just like actually like bad things can happen, that
Yeah. You avoided a potential really bad situation.
yeah, like yeah, I think that could have, yeah, would have probably been like really really bad compared to like other big spots where you maybe just like can also be bad, but that was like, you couldn't have really like tried to do anything if you followed the other side.
But again, going back to your big drops and your many big shots in Formula,
Yeah.
was there any other scary times like that? Because a lot of those spots have high consequences if it goes wrong. Like, or maybe tell me also like how you approach them. Do you clear your mind of all the negative scenario and are just like focused on the positive? Like, because those are high risk spots.
I can't remember any other like close calls from last year. As far as I remember, there wasn't. Probably somebody would come up with something. It's like hard to remember everything, but
Hmm.
I think that was like the like, or at least like pretty much of all the shit that we've ever done, that was like the scariest, or like the closest to going super bad was that one.
Yeah.
The blue thing that we just talked about. I don't. Yeah, I don't think there was anything. The first hit on the like the ender drop in Formula, that was like pretty sketchy. I didn't get hurt or anything, but I like pretty much jumped straight over the landing, and that's pretty like big fall also.
Well, maybe for that shot particularly, that closing shot in Formula where you jump off what, a third or fourth story of a building,
I don't know. It's
like
pretty
really
high.
really high.
Yeah, it's like an
Is
industrial building, so the floors are different.
okay. Um, is it something that you come up with? Is it something that the crew knows that it's your thing, so they say, "Hey, you should do that"? Like, how does that come about of actually setting it up? Because I think of it on my end as a filmer. A lot of times, I would like suggest stuff because I know the writers,
Mm.
and stuff big like that. I just can just imagine writers being like, "Nope, I'm
Uh,
not doing that."
yeah, that was that. Yeah, I came up with that spot by myself. Remember, I was trying another trick the day I came up with that, and then I was getting like super frustrated and pissed at myself, because and like got super like depressed that like when I was trying another trick and they didn't land it, and I was like super angry at myself kind of. And then the guys like started planning something else, and we are like, yeah, you should just like chill for a while and try it maybe tomorrow when the weather is better. And then and then I walked over to see what the guys were doing, and then I was like, yeah, I should just hit this here. And it's like, because we were like filming a lot, there's like roof of the building that's like under kind of the drop, and then I was like on that roof, and then there's like drop to the ground, and then there was like a bit going up from there too, and it didn't look like big from there, because it was like not that long way to the window from where I was standing, and not that long way down also. And then I just walked up there, and I was like, yeah, it looks like I could do it.
Once you're up top, the view is probably super scary.
No, it was not that scary because it's not like there was like the roof was super close, so it made it look like there was a lot going on around the spot. So it's kind of like
Hmm.
you feel safer. It's not just like a drop from like a helicopter to a flat surface. Pretty much, it's like there's a lot of stuff going around. And I would say like the sketchiest part about that spot also, like you can't see it because the sketchiest part is the in run, because the in run is like super super short. It's maybe like
Hmm.
15 feet or something, and then the window is also not like a normal window. It's way higher. It's like if I'm standing, it's pretty much where my head is, the window. So we had to build like a pretty big jump inside, and then like the in run was also super close, and just you can't really like know what speed you need on that a spot like that. You just have to try it.
Yeah, that would be the worst bail ever. Just like knocking your head while jumping. And
Yeah, and then I was also like super scared about not getting enough speed, so I went like as fast as I could on the first try, and then I went way too far. So it was just a big, yeah, that was also a big mission, or not a big mission, but it was just like super sketchy in all directions. But it worked out, and nobody got hurt, so it's a good memory and a nice clip too.
how many tries did it take?
I think it's like 6. We have on the Forre YouTube, we have all the tries,
Yeah,
like a raw cuts, but I think it's 6 or 7.
you got to be patient. Like once you're at the seventh try, being like, okay, because
Yeah,
those type of spots are really specific. Where on a down rail, you can try 100 times,
yeah,
but for a
yeah,
drop like that, the more you try, the more you're tired. The more you're
yeah,
tired, the less you're likely to land it. So
yeah. Usually, like you know, on my mind, I was like one try and that's it, or maybe 2. But then
yeah,
it wasn't that easy. And then also, it's like a sketchy walk up there with like boots, and like the building is super sketchy. So it's like you don't want to be doing it for way too long time. And then also the sun was like coming around the corner. It was just the sunset time, like late spring. So there was like pretty much that was the perfect try that I landed, because with the picture and everything, it lined up good with the sun like just peeking behind the corner. So we got lucky there, and it turned out good.
yeah. Sometimes it feels like there's a reason why you're not landing it. Then the light
Yeah,
gets better, and it's like, okay, that's why. I just
yeah,
needed to wait for the light to be good.
yeah. And also a lot of times, like the filmers, like they need a couple training hits
Hmm.
before, like of course they don't hope that you land first try, because they might film it like not that good, and then when you have done it 5 times, they're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. So
Yeah,
it's good with like bigger shots, kind of to have the opportunity for the filmer to know like kind of what's going on. And
I totally relate to that.
yeah,
um, last shot I want to talk on because it's a crazy one. We talked about being creative and finding different ways to approach
yeah,
street. As much as you went big, one of the shots that stands out the most to me that you did back in Formula was you did a backflip wall ride
yeah,
on a spot that, like, I think it's in a. We can talk about that also because I'm curious. There's a spot that looks like an abandoned warehouse that you guys have a bunch of shot there, but
yeah,
it's a spot where you really needed to have that vision because it's just a hallway. There's no spot there really. You really have to have that trick in mind.
yeah.
Um, so I'm curious. You tell me, like, did you already have that trick in mind? Did it come out at that spot? How did it go? Because that's super crazy. Like half backflip on your upside down wall riding and then completing the backflip.
Yeah, so that's those are filmed at the same place, like the big drop and that one.
Hmm.
And that's like we filmed for Formula. We filmed maybe like 20, at least 20 shots in that place. It's like a huge abandoned factory that we call the office. We spent maybe like a month every day there, so we like saw everything, and just we're just chilling somewhere. We're like,
That spot looks like the dream. No kick out,
yeah,
endless
no kick.
possibilities.
Yeah, pretty much. We filmed so much. We filmed a lot, like a bunch there too this year also, but not as much as last year.
But what do you know what was there before? Like, because it looks like a huge complex.
It's like a gas factory. It used to be
Okay.
a gas factory. But yeah, that spot, the backflip, we were just, we spent a lot of time there. But it was mostly me, Artu, Lowry, and then this one guy Janne. He's a snowboarder. We just spent every day like we're just like making food there and just chilling out and like coming up with ideas and trying to film every day or build a spot. And yeah, that spot came into my mind. I had another trick on my mind, but then I realized as soon as I as I hit the spot that it's not gonna be possible to do so. Then I just did the backflip, kind of.
Was it a front flip?
No, it was like it was like I was thinking if I could do like a half backflip and then like pretzel it back forward, kind of. But then maybe like I don't know. At least that spot was not like we're gonna work for that, and I don't know if it's like possible. But that was just like I just had that trick in my mind, and I was or like I just came up with that, and then I was like, let's try it. Like let's just build a big landing. If I land on my head, it's gonna be like chill, and then
Did you see the recent real skiffy video where they do that with the physics throwing out weights?
yeah, yeah,
That's kind of in a similar try, right?
yeah,
Like
and I
pretzeling
like
your backflip.
yeah, I don't see no reason why you couldn't do it on like a roof wall ride, but not on that spot at least. It was super fast. I feel like you need to like do a slower half backflip and like fly more. And then we were just like we had a good time there. We had a good crew. We're just chilling, and then I just like I was like, yeah, let's just do the backflip, and I came up with the idea of like Artu like having the fisheye like super close up in the roof. We had
Mhm.
like some ladders that we use a lot, and it just looked cool. And I was like, this shouldn't be this like probably not too hard. And then I just maybe took like 4 tries to do the backflip when I tried to do the backflip, and it worked out. And then Laura hit the spot too in doing like a wall ride, kind of. He did like a
Yeah,
with his
that was
noses
dope.
up 180. Yeah, that was super sick too. But yeah, there was nothing like super special with the backflip.
It all went smoothly.
Yeah, it went pretty smoothly. I think maybe like I did one where I landed sketchy, and then one like I over rotated or something, and then it just happened.
So all those crazy ideas come from you. They're not like your friends throwing it around or R2. They're really you come up with those on the spots.
Sometimes it's art to or somebody else, or a lot of times or the spot somebody comes up with. But a lot of times it's just like me, or like a lot of times like I did the like the 270 like redirect wall ride in Formula 2, the big one, and that was mostly just me being like I want to do that trick on a big spot, and then I just saw that spot from the highway when I drive to work, and then I was like, yeah, that's the perfect spot. And or sometimes it's just like I want to do a big wall ride, or we just find a spot, and then it's like
And what's the crew's vibe usually when you suggest a shot like that? Are they all on board, or do they sometimes question like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?"
no, I don't think we really question each other in that way. It's more like trying to be supportive, or like maybe you should try like this trick. I don't think that's gonna work on this thing, and just but I don't think people ever feel like that, because then it's probably or like it would probably just make the skier more stressed out about it if like somebody's questioning him. So it's like, or we try at least that not be like, yo, like you shouldn't do that. That's like
Yeah, it's like if you're feeling it, then let's go.
yeah, pretty much. And then like maybe be like, yo, like I don't think that trick is gonna work, or like try this instead, and then just be supportive in that way.
That's cool.
And yeah, and like I said, we know each other really well and like what we're capable of, so it's like we don't really have to question each other in that way.
There's been an announcement on your end recently. Uh,
Yeah,
you've been making a big name for yourself, as I've said, in the streets for the last 5 years. You're known right now as one of the best in street skiing. You were nominated last year at IF3 for best street segment.
yeah,
This year, you guys won best short film at I5. And in the meantime, you got on surface skis,
yeah,
which I guess helped you out a ton with Forre and supporting making those movies.
yeah,
With you being on the team and then Maino also. And recently, you got your own pro model.
yeah.
So congrats on that. That's sick.
Thank you so much.
How was that? How did that come about? The so basically the ski that you ride all the time, which is the Giver,
Yeah,
they made a you know they made a limited edition run with your own graphic and your own pro model.
yeah, Yeah, I rode my first pair of surfaces in Quebec. They sent them to me to Quebec, and then like I slowly got on, or like I skied those, and then I slowly got on the year after, and then
Yeah, I think I heard that Talty Dan put you on. That's a good friend.
I was in Quebec around that time, and then Jason was talking with Toltidan, I think, and then they just sent me a pair there, and then I skied those. We made the for arsenic video in Talma. I skied the surfaces, and then we just kept on going, and it's been a good time. They've been super supportive. It's like I think it's like one of the coolest brands in the way that they like not a huge brand, but they like still support like me personally, Mania personally, and also like for a big time, and also like art to in a way that he can like make projects and um, get some get some like money out of that, like doing some videos for them and
Hmm.
just like supporting a lot. And then we talked about the pro model. I think already last season, kind of like slowly got into it, and then we were just like we should do it. It's like good idea, and it's I'm super happy that they trust me in that way, and want to like support as much as they can, and that's just the way that they were able to like help out even more and have like give people the opportunity to like support skiers in that way more in because like buying the skis also like it's gonna support me every time somebody buys them, so that's like
Yeah,
a super sick thing to have.
it's a great way for brands that don't necessarily have the budgets that big brands have
Yeah,
to support you. Because if you sell a ton of pairs, then you get
yeah,
some money out of that, and everyone is stoked.
yeah. And also, yeah, I feel like that's something that more brands should be doing. I know that there's like small brands doing that, but it's like I don't think nobody's gonna be losing out like anything with that because people always like most of the people want to support some specific skiers, and then
Mhm.
with like smaller brands, it just makes I think it's like a super cool way to do that and to like support the skiers and just to give like the people the opportunity to like support riders more.
Tell me, we saw you getting into the pink vibe this
Yeah,
spring, painting your boots pink in your Forre edits.
yeah,
Um, and then your pro model has a big pink vibe.
yeah.
What was the thinking in the whole design of it?
It's actually like a pretty. It's not a long story, but it goes back to we had this event called Mega Sessions with Forre on like a super classic down flat down in Helsinki. It
Yeah.
was just like a street rail jam, and we bought some spray paint, some pink spray paint when we made like some like logos to that place, like on the rail kind of. And then I just had these like pink spray paint bottles in my car where we have all the like the winch and everything. I have those spray paint cans in my car, and then uh, we spray painted like the Arsenic movie guys. They bought a car in Finland, or I helped them buy a car, and we spray painted like some parts of that car with the pink. And then one day Lauri just spray painted his boot like a bit on his boots when he found the paint in my car because he had already painted them a bit. And then I was like, yo, yeah, I want to do that also. And then I also did that, and then I painted my bindings too, and went to the Alps, and then it just became a thing. And I went this. We had this surface trip in Clappen. We made this surface video from there. We dropped in the summer, and then the homie Ruben, uh, who's also on surface, he's like one of the digit guys. He's the one who made the skis, designed the skis. He's super talented, and thankful for that he wanted to do that to me, and he was just like came up with the idea like we should just keep the pink thing going. It's gonna look fun, and it's gonna be a nice thing, or just people will make them like special and see as soon as you see the skis that's what's going on kind of.
They're dope. The visual really stands out. It's a unique design and colorway that, you know,
Yeah, and they're like very different to the skis that Surface has made before, so that's something that we wanted to do to kind of make them really stand out and be special.
yeah, for people who want to support you, Surface Giver Pro Model, it's on right now if people want to cop a pair.
Yep.
and it all goes back to you jumping off roofs and doing your
Yeah,
thing. So
pretty much.
that's the circle of giving back. I feel like great way to
Yeah,
support what you guys are doing.
yeah, and the movie is also, that's also all the money goes back to making more movies and stuff for people to enjoy.
And I think that's something really cool in today's social media world, that you guys have really made a name for yourself. You're getting recognition and all that, but you're not posting that much on social media. You're
Yeah,
really, I would say, focused more on quality, like your movies and your edits, rather than quantity of, like, being on the grind of trying to get followers. Like, I
yeah,
think Yuna at some point didn't post for 2 years.
yeah, yeah. That's his style. He stays pretty
He's
low
low
key
key.
with
Yeah.
postings. Yeah, super. But like nowadays we post a bit more on like the Forre account, and also like I post on my personal, because it's, all the algorithm, everything has changed so much, and you kind of want to like still keep the name like uh
It's
so that
part of
people,
the game.
yeah, it's just a part, like a huge part of the game, which is like not that sick, but I don't know, I enjoy posting like every now and then, so it doesn't matter that much. But then at the same time, like we would love to like not have to post anything about the movie and just like s- as that. But then at the same time, like the more we post, the more like people see that it's now available, and that's so it's
Hmm.
like, we kind of have to do it, but it's, we try to not like leak too
Yeah.
much of the movie.
Yeah. You guys are not the type that are on your cell phone all day watching Instagram, I guess.
No, I use a lot of social media.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty addicted on being on my phone. I've always been. But if we are like skiing and stuff, or like in the streets, we don't use it that much. But I also, because I have a lot of friends like uh overseas or like far away, so I like to stay in contact with people, on Instagram, and just like talk with them also, and just see how people are doing, besides like just the close friend circle.
Yeah. Then what's your plan this season? You guys making another movie?
Yeah, yeah, we're making another movie. uh
Tell me about it. Do you have any specific plans, any ideas, goals, wishes?
we yeah, our plan is to travel a bit more, or like maybe go to Sweden, meet up with some of like the Swede guys. They like became a good friends of ours recently, so maybe ski with bit with those guys, just have like some new faces in the movie. And just like we have filmed so much in Helsinki for the last 2 years, so we want to like be able to like be more with the crew also when we are not at the spot, because now it's been like going to skiing in Helsinki. It's like everybody drives their own car to the spot, and then we drive back home, and like somebody sends a video of the clip afterwards, so it's keeps the crew like spirit better, or like
Yeah.
just the vibes better when we are able to like go all back to the same like place and where we're staying all together, and just chill out there and look at the shots, and just enjoy like the company, instead of only hanging out at the spots and building and that stuff.
Yeah. And as you said, changing your approach from season to season helps, like having a fresh mindset where now, if it's a lot of team trips or crew trips, then it's also a sick vibe that's different from being at home.
Yeah, yeah, and also like, yeah, it changes in that way a lot, where we can like, we are at a new fresh place also, like we're driving around with the crew, and people are like finding stuff that, that spot fits you, or that spot fits you, and just like making it happen in that way.
Yeah. That's sick. Um, and then to close off the podcast, I have some questions from people on Patreon.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Um, First off is Will Cameron, who asks, "What's the most fucked up crash you saw while filming this year?"
It's probably the Lowry one that we talked about, on the like the tree rail in the woods. That was probably like the most fucked up that I saw.
Were you concerned for him when he crashed? Like,
Uh,
what came out of it?
yeah, I was in the way, because like that guy has gone through like, I don't know, like way too many knee surgeries, maybe like six or something, and I've seen one before where he fucked up his knee, so I was pretty concerned, but then I saw him, like he stood up and was like smiling and screaming. So I was like, ooh, like he didn't get too hurt, but it was just like, yeah, that was like so fucked up to see that go down.
It's crazy to think that he had that many surgeries and still would try sketchy things like that.
Yeah, but that's what keeps him like
Yeah, that's
like
the life.
that's the lifestyle pretty much. And also, I had one. I got a concussion. That clip is on my Instagram. I like tried to do like gap at 270 onto a down.
That
Yeah,
was
that was
sick.
yeah, yeah. That one was like that was like the, maybe like the scariest and hardest crash I've had in like a couple years, because I had a concussion and those things are always pretty sketchy. So I say those two are probably the ones, the
Yeah.
most like the most fucked up ones.
And how did you handle the concussion? Did you like take a couple weeks off, a couple days off?
I took like a week off of like n- uh of not even like shoveling too much. I was just like maybe went to chill at the spot or just chilling at home,
Hmm.
and then I just like slowly hit some smaller spots and got into it back again. I don't want to, like when I was younger, I kind of didn't care when I had a concussion. I was skiing the next day, but now you're like more like try to
Yeah.
not fuck the rest of your life up with like stupid stuff like that.
Next question, Raf Diaz asks, "What's your mental preparation for huge drops?"
Uh, I don't really know. I don't think I like try to like stay calm also, and then I feel like having like a good group of friends around, and that you trust and they trust you, also helps a lot, that you're like not alone, like they know they're like help you and make everything smooth. And also like sometimes when it's something like big going down and I'm like a bit stressed maybe, and I like, yo, like why aren't you guys building this and why are you just joking around? I feel like that also helps to see that people ain't like stressing. They're not like trying to do everything
Hmm.
perfect. They're just like having a good time and just like talking with each other, and it's just like a normal situation, instead of it being like a scary that everybody's like prepared for something, like something bad to happen. It's uh that, I feel like that would not really work. It's like it works that the situation is super like neutral and everybody's joking around and just like having a good time, and then like usually like I just go into it knowing it, like okay, like I can do this and it's gonna like work out and be good, instead of like being like, oh, I'm gonna try something sketchy. Instead, I just think about it like, okay, like I know what I'm capable of, and I just know that this spot is gonna work. And you know
Really staying like positive mindset.
yeah, yeah, stay positive and just like try to not be like stressed out or anything. Of course it's like stressful sometimes, or like every now and then if it's like something scary, but then just gotta like, you hit it once and then you're like, okay, that was not that bad, like let's get the clip now.
Yeah, it's the first try that's the worst. Like,
Yeah, usually the first try, but also many times it's like even the first try is pretty chill, because I just know what I'm like capable of, and I've done it before. So
then Laurent Olivier Martin asks, "What's your physical preparation for street? Do you hit the gym or are you just going at it random?"
no, I don't really do anything. Probably should do more of like stretching, and I've been getting into climbing this summer. So I've been like working out kind of with that. Also like having some small sessions with my friends after climbing and stuff. But the years before, I know, don't really do anything. Probably should do something, but it's just like, I don't
Some
know.
squats.
Yeah, always like after the season, I'm like, okay, this summer I'm gonna like you know work on myself and just be more prepared for the next season. But then I just end up not doing anything. Kind of, it's
Yeah.
not the best. I don't have to recommend it to anybody, but I'm just being a bit lazy around those areas. And then also like the friends that are like closest to me that I hang out in the summer with, that uh they haven't really been into anything before this summer. So it's like I'm just spending time with my friends and not going to the gym in that way.
Right. Then Sam Chef asks, "What's your favorite snack to have at a street spot?
mm, I don't know.
How do you stay energized?"
uh what do I have? I have to think. I eat a lot of candy, so I sometimes I have some candy with me, but
Candy is good to keep the sugar high.
yeah, and I'm also like I've been eating a lot of candy since I was a kid. Always been addicted to candy, so I'd say candy is probably one of my go-tos. Yep, and then nothing special. Depends. If we are at the factory, a lot of time we have like a grill that you can like use once to make some like sausages or stuff, which that's pretty fun. Just hang out with the crew and make some like hot dogs or something before like when we're skiing. But I don't think I have any special snacks with me.
And then last question from Ryan Bruninghouse. He says, I'd like to know you and the crew's process to finding spots. Do you look for specific tricks or just look for a unique spot and then figure out a trick?
We do both a lot. That's a good question, but we do both a lot. Some like I said earlier, like sometimes I have like a specific trick on my mind, and then I just everybody's like I've been talking about the trick maybe for like even 2 seasons, and then somebody's like, hey, like I found the perfect spot, and that's what we do like back and forward. Maybe somebody's like, I want to try this trick one day, and then in the summer maybe I find the spot for them and like, hey, here's the perfect spot for this trick. Or sometimes it's more just like a lot of time art to find something cool and just sends the group chat the picture like, hey, look at this, and then somebody's like, yo, like I want to hit that in the winter, and then we go there, and then maybe that guy doesn't end up hitting it but somebody else does. And there's a lot of like cool monuments and stuff in downtown Helsinki, so sometimes we're like, hey, we should next season we should go to that thing that's there and it's going to look super cool, and then somebody just comes up with something. Or like maybe we find something close, something like sick, like not right next to it, and then we just end up like, because that's the good thing about our crew, that we have like has a super different style in like tricks and just like spots, so it's easy to always like have the whole crew there, and then like, okay, this like doesn't fit me at all, but Manio can do a sick butter on this or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool about your crew, how you're so all unique and all different from one another.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
nice natural fit to make a movie. Where
yeah,
like you
yeah,
wouldn't want a movie where like every segment is the same.
yeah,
That would be dull.
yeah. If you watch, yeah, like in the last movie, it's like every segment is super different to like the other ones, which is like also my favorite. My favorite thing about the crew is just having like a super like random group of skiers that not really fit that well, like looks like style wise or like trick wise kind of, but then we just all do it together, and it's like a crazy mashup, and it's just works.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on, Harold. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hope we get to see another segment from you this season. Hope everything goes well.
Yep, I'll try my best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers. So this is it for episode 36 with Harald Hellstrom. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a really great talk about street skiing. If you haven't seen it, go check out their movie Cast on YouTube. It's a must watch. Shout out to the patrons on Patreon: Will Cameron, Raf Diaz, Laurent Olivier Martin, Olden Baldassi, Ryan Bruninghouse, and Sam Chef. Also, big thanks to the sponsors: Surface Skis, Access Board Shop, Planks Clothing, and Dick Anne's Restaurants. Peace!